What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we move closer to the finale of The Return of Johnny Ridden. Last time, Emma and Sangre Azul fled Compe Island. Also, Char and Led fought one another, and Char was able to get the upper hand before fleeing. This episode, the team regroups at the Garden of Thorns. Gop heads into space, and Remia and Led are reunited. So let's get into this. Ditcut notices the beam blast and wonders where Hoover is. They're heading towards the Sangre Azul and the Isaac, but ultimately they don't have a final destination. Yazan's unit was critically damaged during an encounter with Char, which I didn't really touch on last time. Phileas Stream comes in to pick him up. He thinks that the red comet he went up against is the real deal. As he gets into Phileas's cockpit, he tells him to grab the black box on his mobile suit as they may have received some interesting data. They head back to the Pegasus-class ship. The captain of the Blanc rival contacts Gop. He is worried about Ingrid, who is currently on standby. The captain relates as he has a niece that he too cares about. Gop decides that it is time for him to face this head on. It is time for Gop to head into space. Gop entices the captain to stay in the military via Federation welfare programs. He seems like he has seen some shit and could use a few more vacation days. How'd you lose that eye, buddy? They will meet Gop at Luna 2. Before setting course towards the asteroid, they go to pick up Yazan from the battlefield. Back on the Masaka-class ship, Arlette chastises Char, telling him that he broke it once again. Char says, "I do two things, break mobile suits and break women's hearts. It's that wicked life he lives, man."
Amaro.
When he activates the psychoframe, there are a lot of buffers to allow the pilot to automate a lot of the flying to not put stress on the machine. Bashar is a psychopath and turned all that off. However, dude could stop on a dime and can take 5 Gs to the face without passing out. He's got talent, you can't deny that. But when doing this, it causes great stress, requiring a lot of parts to be replaced. Char leaves the handling of things with Anaheim Electronics and Von Braun to her and Danton, while he heads to Granada. She realizes that his mission pertains to Amada Ray.
Amaro.
At this point, Anaheim Electronics is making mobile suits for both Neo Zeon and Londo Bell. Char also gives approval for Arlette to work on a new mobile suit. She tells Danton that it derives from the Gyaradoga line of mobile suits, and she is calling it the Sazabi. Oxner and Gop meet at the spaceport on Earth. They're playing their little games with one another as they race for Minaret. But currently, Oxner's men have the Sangre Azul and are ahead of the pack. The goal of humanity when moving out into space was freedom. But Gop finds it ironic as the Spacenoids are confined in a colony or a spaceship. Oxner takes a more optimistic approach, just like Zeon in many ways. Or at least he recognizes that it is the right approach. He also says he isn't the good guy here, and he too is just an opportunist. Remember, neither of these men's intentions are anything other than feeding into the oligarchy that comes to be during Mafty's rebellion. Gop's plan is ready, and he takes his leave. But before he goes, he says that everyone was surprised to hear that he is going into space. Everyone except for him. He bows and simply says, anyone who knows of your past should feel surprised. Gop smiles and makes his leave. On the Nikaya, Uma never thought that the Chimera and an EFF ship would be side by side. Ditcut mentions that things have changed. It isn't about Zeon or EFF. It is just about fighting for a future. After losing half of humanity during the 1-year war, people just want to see people survive. They get into contact with the Chimera. Siemens and his men head towards the Argama-class ship. Hoover comes onto the bridge and says that being led by the Chimera is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of once-in-a-lifetime chances in this manga. Ingrid is watching the battle data from the previous fight with Char. Yazan comes in and asks her if she is afraid. She is, and wonders if Yazan feels the same way. He says that during the 1-year war, there was nothing but fear. It is like seeing an old friend. It actually turns him on. Yazan forgets that he is talking to a little girl. They approach Luna 2. Both their mobile suits are wrecked, so Ingrid will have to play suck-up with her father to distract him while he asks for new mobile suits. I'm pretty sure he would just give them to you. Char makes it back to Sweetwater. He isn't going to attend the meeting with the Neo Zeon higher-ups and is planning on taking a few ace pilots to handle business with the Chimera Corps. He tells Horst that unfortunately, he isn't going to be the leader that he wants him to be, as his heart is still in being a pilot. This is of course a response to telling Horst that he will finally stop piloting after the event that leads to his death. He wants Horst to be the leader of Neo Zeon for now. It is vague, but I assume it is a role in Parliament, similar to Side 3 or the Federation. He heads out. Horst recognizes that he won't stop fighting as a pilot until he fights Amada once again.
Amaro.
The Chimera Corps all flee to the Garden of Thorns and regroup. Remy and Led finally are reunited. She thinks that he is going to make fun of her, but he is just glad that she made it back safely. Emma is watching as the two fall in love, but then Simmons gives her this sketchy look. He's like, girl, what have you and Cristobal been up to? Didcot hates all this young love, but Hoover tells him to speak for himself, as he is young at heart. Hoover has too much energy. He needs to take it down a notch. There is a lot of damage to the mobile suits from their encounter. Didcot says that he only said he would pilot the Nikaya. The mobile suits are all on Hoover. Better use that FSS money. Hugbald comes over asking for a moment of their time. On Luna 2, Ingrid gives Gop a big hug. All right, you guys want some water or some orange? Oh man, I love orange juice. Whoa. I didn't say anything about orange juice. Hugbald tells Hoover about the Garden of Thorns and how it was Delaz's base of operation, and also how the public doesn't know about this place yet. Of course, Hoover was somewhat privy to this info. He wants Hoover to work together with them. Anaheim Electronics is putting a lot of money into restoring the area. Soon, this could house 700 people. They want to help Hoover in achieving his goal, which makes me believe he wants Minaret to help grow the Garden of Thorns. They have lost communication, but were able to receive a message from Oxner that says, I'll see you guys at the Garden of Thorns. They are amazed that Oxner is leaving Earth. Like Gop, the chairman is heading to Von Braun first. Most people always have a layover on the moon before heading out to the colonies. Someone should go pick him up. They could also have any parts for repair from the moon, and it can be sent back within 2 days. Hugbald tells them that Anaheim Electronics helped both the Titans and AU during the Greps conflict. Because of their support from not only Remnants, but also the Republic of Xeon on Side 3, they were able to evolve their tech via their satellite office in Granada. He says that even though they have been in the business of making mobile suits, they aren't diversifying mobile suit production. Everything has kind of become streamlined, and because of that, there is a standardization in parts. This allowed people to mass produce mobile suits at great speeds, but it comes at a cost at outsourcing parts of the production pipeline to someone else. This makes it hard to make one-off mobile suits. It is like trying to manufacture something in America today. The mechanisms at place to make that happen no longer exist because it is now outsourced. On top of that, you get a lot of trade secrets being sold left and right. All this to say the military-industrial complex is hard to keep up with. Xeon had almost a 10-year head start in mobile suit development, but one thing that FSS and EFF never seemed to focus on was the mobile worker. Most of what Xeon did was focused in the private sector. Even this manga, which followed, led as he investigates mobile suits. We only focused on the weapons of war. It's time for Anaheim Electronics to pivot, and with the help of Minaret, they are looking to get into the business making colonies. The Garden of Thorns is located in the Shoal Zone that was once Side 5. In UC 0096, so too is Industrial 7 inside the Shoal Zone. Are you seeing what's happening here? We are starting to see Anaheim Electronics make moves into a space which we will see fleshed out in Gundam Unicorn. It seems the birthplace of Industrial 7 started with the Garden of Thorns. Meanwhile, in Von Braun City, Oxner has arrived. The Chimera Corps runs training simulations fighting against Char based off of the battle data from their previous encounter. They're struggling to keep up with Simulator Char. Remia says that based off the battle data, Char's mobile suit was injured, so he wasn't even at his full potential. And the damage was self-inflicted by wear and tear, so the enemy never even got a hit on him. That is when Gerald Sakai appears. Gerald Sakai is one of the 4 aces from Brave Soldiers in the Sky. The aces consisted of Gerald Sakai, Rory Greenwood, Remia's father, Shin Matsunaga, and Johnny Ridden. He has been laying low as a baker recently. He is also a former Chimera Corps member. Uma is the one who contacted him. He looks at Led and says, so he is the one. For Remia, he will always be Led Wayline. Jacobius tells Led if he is really Johnny Ryden, then he must lead them. The Chimera Corps is together once again. Hugbald wants Remia to help them on the Chimera Corps MS development project and help them with their next battle. He wants her to head to Granada for procurement. In Granada, Anaheim Electronics has a second facility where the Rick Diaz was developed, and most of the AUG stuff. Hoover has already approved a budget. Remia agrees on one condition. She wants to bring her sister, Amaria Greenwood, with her. And that will do it for this episode. This episode is now starting to bridge the Minaret with Industrial 7 and UC 0096. Seeing Anaheim Electronics start to make a pivot as early as UC90 is interesting. It shows they were making moves towards Magallanica and the Colony Builder, way before leaving the mobile suit game, or at least not putting as much focus on it. They never really leave. This is also why they most likely fell off in late Universal Century, as companies like SNRI started to win government contracts over Anaheim Electronics. Next time, everyone heads to the moon. Gop wears a hoodie, and it looks so weird. That dude came out of the vagina wearing a suit. Also, Yazan gets his hands on his very own Gundam Mark II. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, if you give your Garden of Thorns enough water and sunlight, it too could grow into a beautiful colony. Peace.